The kitten woke with the first rays of the sun. The sun's rays touched his white, fluffy fur. He stretched and quickly jumped out of the crib. He stretched, shook his body, and straightened his white, fluffy fur, and finally, parting with sleep, he jumped onto the windowsill. Everything around him was awakening from sleep. The chirping of birds and the morning alarm clock, the rooster, could be heard announcing the arrival of a new day. That morning, the little gray mouse who lived in the basement of this house was also already awake. His morning bath brought him great pleasure. He played with the foam, splashed water on himself, and frolicked to his heart's content, although after that, he had to wipe the entire bathroom floor. After resting after taking a bath in front of the TV, the little mouse felt hungry and headed to the kitchen. He ran to the kitchen along a familiar route, listening, afraid to meet the kitten. But when he finally ran to the cat's bowl and licked such delicious milk, he heard an angry cat hiss. Turning around, the mouse saw in the open doorway a fierce white kitten who ran headlong to protect his milk from the mouse. The mouse ran away, and the kitten followed him. The cunning little mouse remembered that the kitten was forbidden to be in the children's room where the owner's children were playing, so he darted through the half-open door of the nursery. Now, he calmly walked through the toy labyrinth in the nursery. There, you could find something tasty. After all, children, when playing, could sometimes leave something behind. There, the little mouse soon found his favorite treat, a small piece of cheese. A little later, an apple and a pear. Thus, breakfast took place and he headed for the exit. It was a warm, sunny day outside. The mouse walked further and further from the house. The morning freshness could be felt, and the aroma of the forest beckoned him with its scents. Yes, the kitten appeared in the kitchen on time, and his breakfast, a saucer of milk, remained intact. The kitten happily lapped up all the milk and went outside to patrol his territory, as all cats do. He headed to the riverbank. The summer was hot and there had been no rain for a long time. The sun mercilessly dried the earth, and in some places it had already cracked. The kitten was intrigued by the cracked mound and decided to water it. And lo and behold, a red flower bud appeared on it before his very eyes, which opened before his eyes. Then he saw yunnel flowers, which also appeared from the ground after watering them. The kitten went to the riverbank to fish, got into a boat, and sailed. He rowed and the boat sailed, rocking on the waves. Following the boat, fish swam in the clear water, frolicking and sometimes jumping out of the water and diving back into the water. A green frog sat on a water lily leaf. He watched the kitten swimming in the boat and waved his paw goodbye. The heat completely drowsied the kitten, and he stretched out on the bottom of the boat and floated with the current for some time. But it was time to return home. He sat down at the oars again and saw air bubbles in the clear water. They rose to the surface of the water and burst, and in their place, a water lily appeared, which blossomed before our eyes, turning into a beautiful pink flower. The kitten watched enchanted for some time and swam home. Having landed on the riverbank and set out his fishing rods, he lay down to wait for a bite. The bell that alerted the fisherman to a bite did not ring, and he dozed off. The fish did not bite. But suddenly, the bell rang, and the kitten immediately opened his eyes. A mouse was standing in front of him. He had accidentally touched the bell. The kitten jumped up. The mouse quickly realized the danger of his situation and took off running, and the kitten rushed after the mouse. The little mouse was running at full speed. A tree appeared ahead. The little mouse ran up to it and decided to take refuge in the tree. The kitten was exhausted from the heat and didn't want to follow the little mouse up the tree at all. The frightened mouse climbed higher and higher up the tree trunk, and seeing that the kitten wasn't pursuing him, perched on a tree branch. From above, gradually calming down, he surveyed everything around him. Then his gaze fell on a branch of a nearby tree. An owl was perched on it, piercing him with its round eyes. The owl had to hunt mice by flying low above the ground, and then, such luck, a defenseless mouse was sitting nearby on a branch. The mouse quickly realized that he needed to escape as quickly as possible, and since the kitten had already escaped, he jumped from the branch to the ground and rushed headlong into the forest. It would be difficult for an owl flying between the trees to catch the mouse. The mouse quickly disappeared among the bushes and trees of the forest and calmly continued on. He walked on, admiring the flowers and completely forgetting about caution. Suddenly, a red fox appeared from behind a bush in front of him. Mice were always a tasty treat for foxes. Foxes often hunted mice, sometimes tearing up their burrows. The mouse reacted to the fox instantly. He took off running from the fox, trying to hide in the grass. Making his way between the bushes, he ran, and the fox ran after him. Very soon, his home appeared. Just a little bit more and he's saved, the little mouse dreamed feverishly. The little mouse's fear was so great that he wasn't even afraid of the big, shaggy dog lying in the doghouse near the house. He fearlessly darted into the doghouse and hid behind the dog. The shaggy dog, seeing the impudent fox that ran into his home yard, became furious and rushed at it with a growl. The fox instantly realized that she needed to run as quickly as possible into the forest to her native safe places. The dog pursued the fox until she disappeared into the forest. Returning home, he calmed the trembling mouse and led him to the entrance of the hole.